Shema Yasher Allah Yahweh Alahayanawa Yahweh Achad Shema Yasher Allah Yahweh Alahayanawa Yahweh Achad Shema Yasher Allah Yahweh Alahayanawa Yahweh Achad Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Sai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Sai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Sai, Bahasur Kahakodash. I want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well, as well as peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. I was a high spirit wind lawyer, and today I want to go into a topic entitled, Be Grateful for What You Don't Have. Be grateful for what you don't have. As the saying goes, less is more. Less is more. All right. And this came by inspiration of a lesson that I did yesterday. And the spirit hit me while doing a lesson. Like, hey, that's a lesson. Be grateful for what you don't have. Because I see through the spirit that less is more. And it was brought up on the WhatsApp, like, yeah, do that lesson. So, hey, I be willing, this is edifying. All right. As it says in the scriptures, with food and raiment, let us therewith be content. And it's not that we're going to make ourselves homeless on purpose for Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, or we literally live like the disciples where they stopped what they were doing, they stopped fishing, and just follow Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. We can't afford to do that. Scripture says, hey, we are yet this day in our captivity. All right, the scripture says that we're made subject to payments. All right, so we have to serve that portion, all right, within this, in this truth. We have to deal with that part of living, work to pay bills, all right, but within that, there are certain things that are conducive to your light in this truth. And one of those things is having a simple mind, having a simple lifestyle, all right? And I'm saying that Yahweh Bahashim Shai, the spirit and energy of Yahweh Bahashim Shai, Yahweh Bahashim Shai, he deals with simplicity. The energy flows better when you don't have a bunch of moving parts in your life, man. All right? And me, I was a rideshare driver. And myself, I've gone without a vehicle before. All right? I've definitely picked up people who did not have vehicles. And in Mississippi, that could be an inconvenience because we don't have that 24-hour public transportation like brothers and sisters in other cities. You know, it's a limited time, limited locations that they actually go to. So it can actually be an inconvenience, all right, to not have your own private transportation. So Lyft has this motion down here because of that, all right. But a lot of times you may feel frustrated, and this is just an example of being grateful for what you don't have. So a lot of times you might feel frustrated because you don't have a vehicle, you have to walk everywhere. People who are driving, they're seeing you on these sidewalks walking everywhere with grocery bags in your hand. But one of the key causes of death in America, one of the top causes of death in America is being sedentary. One of the key causes of death in America is not walking enough. All right, so an example of being, grateful for what you don't have, key example is the thing that you thought was an inconvenience was actually to your benefit because you're supposed to walk about 10,000 steps a day. And the majority of us don't walk 10,000 steps a day. All right? You're supposed to walk about 10,000 steps a day. The majority of us don't do that. But there's a study that said that people who walk at least 7,000 steps a day, they have their chance of dying from premature death decreases by 40%. People who walk 7,000 steps a day, their chance of dying from premature related death, all right, premature causes of death, decreases by 40% just because they walk. So, an example of being grateful for what you don't have, for a brother or sister who does not have a vehicle and they have to walk everywhere, guess what? You may be healthier than people who do have vehicles, especially people who do have vehicles and they do not exercise. Because the most powerful exercise is walking. Earthlings, people, humans, we're wired to walk. And we're like just like a vehicle, the vehicle corrodes if you don't use it. So your body decays, all right, if you don't use it, if you're sedentary. All right, sedentary. So, you know, an example of being grateful for what you don't have. If you don't have a vehicle, that means you don't have a car note. That means you don't have maintenance repair issues. That means you don't have this scammed up insurance. That means you don't have tire problems. All right, that means you don't deal with traffic jams. All right, that means you don't have to worry about car burglars. All right, car thieves. All right. That means you don't have to worry about the gas price. All right, because your first vehicle is your two legs. Your first vehicle are these right here. That's your first vehicle, man. Okay? Shalom, shalom, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahawashi, Bahashim Rakako Dash Barakatah. All right, and Barakatham to you, brothers and sisters, who are tuning in to this live stream. All right? So, that's something that was on my spirit yesterday while I was thinking about being grateful for what you don't have. You know, who wants to catch the bus all the time? You know, but nonetheless, you know, if you have to walk to the store, hey man, you get steps in that you didn't know you needed, man. Okay. Part of the reason, part of the parts of the world people live to be like 1,000. Of course, I'm exaggerating. I believe they walk everywhere because of the terrain and the environment. Okay. And there's a scripture that says, there's one who doesn't sin for want. Roughly paraphrasing, but basically, there's one who doesn't sin because he's broke. That's if you use to modern day's terms, there's a man who doesn't sin because he's broke. And some of us, we haven't destroyed ourselves in the flesh because we cannot afford to destroy ourselves. All right? Some of us, we can't afford to blow all our money on females or spend all our money on harlots because you can't afford to do so. Some of us don't have money to jump in the car and be all in the city doing whatever, just pleasing your flesh. All right? Some of us are mentally stable or spiritually on point because we're broke. Every brother can't deal with having a 6-figure job. Every brother can't deal with making $60,000 a year. Some brothers, they are coming to camp every week because they make about $35,000 a year, $30,000 a year. You know, and but it keeps them in a certain spirit. All right, it keeps them in the spirit of haste. All right, you got demons that you haven't unlocked because you haven't unlocked them because you don't have the money to unlock them. You know, I remember a joke Cat Williams did. This might have been like 2008, and one of his stand-ups. He was like, sometimes being broke is good for you. It'll save you. And he was talking about Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson started fucking with his nose because he was rich. All right, if Michael Jackson was broke, he would have just had to just like, hey, I'm a big nose nigga. It is what it is. You know, when you low income, you can't afford to fuck up your body with surgery. All right, when you poor, you can't afford to fuck up your body because you're not content with what you have. You know what I'm saying? You just learn to deal with that shit. All right. It was a Lupe Fiasco line in I think it's from the album Food and Liquor. And he was like, The struggle, another sign that God love you, because being broke keep you humble. And he was like, it also teach you how to hustle, you know. But once again, less is more. You know, you can tap into untapped talents, all right, through being in a state of necessity. A lot of ingenuity, a lot of innovation happened with mankind, and particularly America, when people were broke, man, and they were thinking of innovative ways to make life easier. But now everybody has a smartphone in their hands, and they're entertainment junkies. They don't have space to be creative. They don't know that your mind is for creating things, and your mind is the source of life, because you take that creativity and you bring it into manifestation. You bring it into fruition. All right. I think fruition goes back to the word fruit. So the thing that you invented, the thing that you made, is the fruit of your ideas. You see. But a lot of that happens from being in a state of necessity. All right. A lot of. How did this song go? The more money we come across, the more problems we see. There are people who hit the lotto, then their children got kidnapped and were held for ransom. There were guys that hit the lotto for 300 million, 100 million. The daughter was kidnapped. She was put to death, held for ransom, and then put to death. You know, guys started bugging out. The money was actually a curse to him. There's a movie called All the King's Horses. All right, his son-in-law and his daughter moved in with him. He was like a billionaire from Europe. He was investing in the oil company. But the son-in-law was just a hard worker, blue-collar American, right? But when he moved in with his father-in-law, which was a billionaire, he just became a drug addict, man. He became a drug addict. Everybody is not disciplined enough to deal with access like that. Access can ruin a man and a woman. Access. How many entertainers was poor, then when they got access, all right, they were poor and skinny. I mean, how many entertainers can you think of that were poor and skinny, right? Then when they had access, all right, when they got granted access, they became obese and sick. And some of them eventually died, or they had to switch up their diet. An example of that was Aretha Franklin. When Aretha Franklin was in her early 20s, you see pictures of Aretha Franklin in her early 20s. She was beautiful. She was beautiful. Inside joke, but she was beautiful, man. You know how Eve looked in the 60s, but apparently she got a hold to that money. She got a hold to that moolah, and she just got bigger and bigger and bigger. I remember Paul Wall. When he first came out, he was skinny. Then he started getting that money, and he started getting fat. But I think he lost a lot of weight now, A lot of people, man, they was poor and skinny, but that was the healthiest they ever had been when they was poor and skinny. But they got a hold to that access, man. They started traveling and eating this stuff, man. All right? And really, that's when they started to die. That's when they started to get sick. Because they became gluttoners. All right? Dick Gregory, the late Dick Gregory, talked about how much weight he picked up from, traveling and going on different campaigns. And he was also a stand-up comedian. Hey, shalom, Yahweh Bahashemel Shai Bahashemel Hakodash Brakathon. He talked about how he ended up weighing 300 pounds, around 300 pounds, man. Just from, a lot of us, we be in a state of necessity. You may not make a lot, and it comes with the struggle, and it comes with just living paycheck to paycheck. You get that better job, you get that desk job, and now you pick up a quick 20 pounds, quick 40 pounds. Every day for lunch, you ordering something for lunch. Yahweh the Luke. This is from the brother Yahweh. Luke 21:34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, so that day come upon you unawares. And another thing too, there's a certain regiment, a certain routine that keeps your spirit on point, man. And if you deviate from that routine, you go to more being in the flesh, you don't find your balance, you'll realize that spirit man inside of you is not really sharp like that. You'll think you're on point, but you're not really on point like how you should be according to your life. All right, so sometimes the Most High is not about the circumstance you in, it's what that circumstance produces. The circumstance you in, it makes you the most on point in the spirit. You see? Which goes into women. All right, some of us don't have women, or the Most High sets it up to where you don't have a woman living with you or whatever it may have you, because it extracts too much from you. It pulls too much from you. All right, but that comes with a balance. You might have a woman that chill with you a day or two out the week, because there is a balance, man. Scripture says, be not righteous over much. But going back to being grateful for what you don't have. Women come with responsibilities. Women require money. Women require time. All right, women can take your peace. They can take your freedom. They can take your peace of mind. It ain't all about that thing that jiggle, man. All right, that comes at an expense. And some of us, we can't afford that expense. We can't afford the cost of women, even if it's not a financial cost. And you just gotta be real. Some women, they come with your sanity. Some of us, we stop thinking clearly because we got women in our lives. And you might get simped out, You might get simped out because you got pussy in your life, man. All right? And it's cool to know your weaknesses. It's cool to know that, like, shit, you ain't got to tell every brother, but you've experienced how you are with women, and maybe your brother had to counsel you, and he made you realize you was tripping and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to be grateful for what you don't have. Because when you don't have that woman in your life, that's an energy you bring into your energy. You bring another energy source into your world, man. And that energy could throw your energy off balance. It could throw your spirit off balance, man. Tawab Paryah, 1 Corinthians 7:29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short, it remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none. And there's a difference between a man that has a purpose and a man who does not have a purpose. And there are things that a man that has a purpose can do, and there are things there's things that a man who doesn't have a purpose can do, and there's things that a man who does have a purpose can do. And when you have a purpose, everything is different. When you have a purpose, you can't do what the average man does because you have a purpose. So if you have a purpose, and we do have a purpose, you can't be that happy wife, happy life guy. You can't be the honey, I'm home guy. You can't. There are things you're going to do with your family regardless, but that can't be your life. The family man can't be your life. And you have to shun out what people at your job say, what your family members say. Go find your wife and do this and go move here. Like, man, fuck all. We know why we here, man. But it's cool to have a company. Besides, marriage doesn't work no more, man. But we have women that we deal with, 1 Corinthians 7:30. And they that weep as though they weep not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. And this I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is commonly, and that you may attend upon the Most High without distraction. And what I've learned is that this is a distraction game, man. This is a competition, a game of distraction. Can you stay focused in this truth? Because whether it's your own thoughts, ideas, or things that come into your life, a lot of it is here to distract you, man. So sometimes you have to be grateful for what you don't have, because it's what you didn't have that kept you in the truth this long. You see? It's what you did not have that kept you in the truth this long. All right? All right? The thing that you wanted, if you would have got it, you would not have been in the truth, most likely. Or there's a chance you would not have made it this far to the truth. That woman that you wanted, nah, it would have came with an expense. And it could have came with the expense of your crown. All right? That job that you wanted that would have paid a lot more money, but you could never get that job, it would have threw you way out this. There's a chance. Now you good, bro. You good. That job that you wanted, another brother could have got that job. 1 second, I gotta get in my car. Salak Akim. That job that you wanted, another brother could have got that job and would have been fine. But you gotta be real, like certain jobs or what they would call careers, it would have thrown you off balance. It would have had you away from home. It would have done something. Because the most important thing in this truth, man, you don't build the truth around your life. You build your life around the truth. And your father is a father for a reason. And when you are a child that don't know any better, you don't realize how some things can be a hindrance to you. But Most High being your actual father, he's going to do what a father does. He's going to take certain things from you or keep you from getting certain things in the first place so you could finish the mission. Tap into your purpose, man. All right? Being clear-headed is a gift. You know how many delusional people are out here? All right, being sober-minded, that's a gift. Having peace is a gift. Being free is a gift. It's subtle gifts. It's not shiny, ostentatious gifts. It's subtle gifts. Gifts that exist in the mind. You know? And once you obtain those things, man, right, you cherish them. And if you ever lose them for a particular period of time, and the Most High allows you to have it back, you cherish it even more. All right? But with that, I hope you brothers and sisters were edified. Once again, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Hakodash. I want to give double honor to our elder apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone Ruel. Peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. Abba, Kum Yashala, Shalom.